Welcome to the latest edition of Shelf Life Book Reviews Online. As always, I do thank you for taking the time to watch my videos, which hopefully you do find informative. And the book that I'm about to review for you today is one you will very seriously consider purchasing if you're a wrestling fan. Or if you're not a wrestling fan, I still think you'd find it interesting. The book is The Last Real World Champion, The Legacy of Nature Boy Ric Flair by Tim Hornbaker. This is published by ECW Press, and it retails for $29.99. I'm a wrestling fan from way back. I watched it in the late 60s, early 70s, and there are a lot of great wrestlers. But Ric Flair debuted. His first match was December the 10th, 1972, against George Scrap Iron Godowski, which they wrestled to a draw. But first, a little bit about Ric Flair's beginning. He was adopted in 1949 by Kathleen and Richard Fleer, F-L-I-E-H-R. When he did get to the wrestling ring, he was known as Rick, R-I-C-K, Flair, and then he dropped the K when he was actually in his matches. So he joined the AWA, American Wrestling Association, back in 1972, where he was trained by Vern Gagne. Vern Gagne was the owner of the group, the world champion there, and he also trained other notable wrestlers such as the Iron Sheik, Jumpin' Jim Brunzell, and Ken Patera, who was a former Olympic athlete. And so he wrestled in the organization until 1974, when Ric Flair decided to go to the NWA, National Wrestling Alliance, and he worked for Jim Crockett in the Mid-Atlantic region. Now, when he started in the NWA, things really opened up because there were a lot more territories that they could go to, and his main feud at the time was with Dusty Rhodes, and they had one battle after another. There were so many matches. He might win one in one city, then lose to him in the other. Then there were a lot of countouts, disqualifications, and the amazing number of disqualifications and countouts led to what was called in the wrestling circles the Dusty Finish. It was basically nobody won. Somebody won by disqualification, and nobody won by double countout or whatever. So, anyways. He started feuding with quite a few wrestlers at one time. He did wrestle with Ricky Steamboat, Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan, and so many more. But one of his more notable ventures in the wrestling world was as part of the Four Horsemen. The manager was J.J. Dillon, and the Four Horsemen were comprised of Gene and Ole Anderson and Tully Blanchard, along with Ric Flair, and they terrorized regions. But Ric Flair finally went to the WWF, which became the WWE today, and he was most notable there. He had a lot of feuds with a lot of wrestlers, and he made his mark known. He did become world champion when he defeated Harley Race. Now, Harley Race was a 6, 7, 8-time world champion, and he, dropped the belt to Ric Flair. Then Ric Flair dropped the belt to him. But Ric Flair kept it for the longest time. Now, Ric Flair, although he did retire in 2022, his final match for TNA, Total Nonstop Wrestling Action. He was 50 years in the wrestling ring, and his heart and soul was always in wrestling. And in this book, Tim Hornbaker, really chronicles his career. And it's like a who's who of wrestling when you read all the wrestlers that he has fought against. He also had a feud against Nature Boy Buddy Rogers, which is kind of interesting because Ric Flair calls himself Nature Boy Ric Flair. So it was the battle of the Nature Boys, the old versus the new, because Nature Boy Buddy Rogers had been around since the 50s. So it's who's the real Nature Boy? Well, they were both classic wrestlers. So anyways, this book also boasts 60 pages of notes in the back of the book. So it's very thorough. So if you're looking for a book that is all about wrestling, if you're an old-time wrestling fan, you will love this book. It is the ultimate book. One of Ric Flair's mottos is to beat the best, you got to be the best. And so he definitely was one of the best wrestlers, technical wrestlers, dirty wrestlers of all time. So this is a must-read for you wrestling fans out there, and of which I'm a wrestling fan too. So that's why I enjoyed it so much. So that's a book I wanted to draw to your attention. If you do purchase it, let me know if you do agree with my review. So until next time, which I will have another classic book for you, stay safe, stay sane, stay in touch, and I will see you at the bookstore. Thank you again. Bye for now.